all my YouTubians in YouTube land. I'm Asherella, and this is Original Asherella, my YouTube channel. I occasionally upload my videos to IGTV, but like, meh, it's mostly a YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing what I do in most of my videos, and that is obsess over something that I love. Today I'm going to be talking about my favorite movie ever, and that is The Lost Boys. Now, it is my favorite movie ever. Have I mentioned that? I know I have. Not just in this video, but in previous videos. But I've never done, it's never gotten like its own original Asherella video. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. There's a few like cool things that you might not know about the movie, and if you've not watched it, I'm going to tell you why I love it. You should go totally watch it and kind of how it became my favorite movie. But before I get into all that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave me a like and a comment, gently press the notification bells, and find me on my social media accounts, Instagram and Twitter mostly. Okay, so the first time that I watched The Lost Boys, I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. My parents were divorced, and my sister's 7 years older than me, so she did a lot of babysitting, like after school and in the summers. And so I certainly got to watch a lot of movies that I wouldn't normally be allowed to had my mom been there like during the day or whatever. And The Lost Boys is like, that's how I saw The Lost Boys for the first time. It originally came out in like 1987. This was several years after that. But yeah, that's how I watched The Lost Boys. That's the first time I saw it, and ever since that moment, it has been basically my favorite movie since I was like a little kid. It definitely, you know, has impacted the person I've evolved to be, especially like my personal style. I mean, you know, I wear fangs. Like, I know it's not solely because of The Lost Boys. Like, I have a whole video about my fangs if you want to watch that, where I do talk about The Lost Boys a little bit. But, yeah, like, it's just such a great movie, and even from, like, as a little, like, a child, you know, there was just something so cool, and, like, the whole movie is, like, very, like, visually pleasing, in my opinion. Like, the soundtrack is great, you know, you've got these good-looking characters, and it's just, like, everything about it I just love so much. And I have since I was little. You know, over the years, you know, I've came across articles and videos and interviews and things like that regarding the film, and there's a few things that I want to talk about that you might not know, and I just think are kind of cool. So, okay, the movie is called The Lost Boys. Most of the time, like, when I hear The Lost Boys, of course I think of the film. Most people, or a lot of people, think of Peter Pan, Lost Boys, which is totally valid. You know, Peter Pan Lost Boys have been around way longer than these Lost Boys, and it's like, you know, classic. But nowhere in the film does it say like the Lost Boys or anything like that, but it turns out the film is called The Lost Boys because the original script was written by the same people who wrote The Goonies, and Joel Schumacher directs the film that we know, but originally there was supposed to be another director, and the original script with the original director, the characters were much younger. They were like preteens and like younger. Existing film, there are definitely a few things that you can like loosely relate to like themes of Peter Pan's Lost Boys, but the original script was heavily, you know, draped in themes of Peter Pan's Lost Boys. Like, these were like child vampires, like never die, never grow old, and you know, the Lost Boys of Peter Pan never die, never grow old. That would actually probably be a pretty freaky movie to have all these like kid vampires. I'm not sure how I totally feel about that, or if that's something I would want to see. But it is interesting to think of like that is the origin of the movie that we know. But the original director, and I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, he had made some other commitments, so they brought Schumacher in, and I love Joel Schumacher. I love Joel Schumacher's Batman. I get so much hate for that, like, but I don't care. I love Joel Schumacher. Anyway, so they bring him in to direct the film, and you know, he's like, no, we need to raise the age of these characters and make them older, and we're gonna make this like film much more like adult or mature, I guess. And so they did. And one thing that I think is just crazy about the original set of Lost Boys and the original script is that the Frog Brothers were supposed to be like 8-year-old, like chubby Cub Scouts. Can you imagine Edgar and Allan Frog as anything other than the Frog Brothers that we know and love today? I really can't. And that is just like, oh my god. Like, I just wonder, like, who would I be right now had Joel Schumacher never, like, came into the film and changed it the way they did? Like, I mean, it's an interesting thought for sure. I'm so glad that he did, and I'm so glad that we have the film that we have now. It's such a good movie. It's such a good movie, and if you've never seen it, like, you should definitely watch it, or you won't really even know what I'm talking about. But like, you just want to be like David and the boys, and you know, aesthetically, it's like really visually pleasing. You know, everybody's like really good looking, and you know, there's like motorcycles and leather jackets and like train tracks, and you know, they have their like cave area, and there's this like upside down you know, furniture, and then there's like the big Jim Morrison thing, and it's just, I don't know, I just love it so much. One thing about the Lost Boys that I love are all the like really good like classic lines and like one-liners from the film. You know, we've got like Death by Stereo and Attack of Eddie Monster and all the goddamn vampires. And if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But there's even a band called Death by Stereo that named themselves after that line in The Lost Boys. You know, Grandpa is hilarious in the film. You know, even Max, as he is, he like plays that role so good. You know, he is actually the grandpa on Gilmore Girls, which is weird to look at him as Max and then look at him as Gilmore Grandpa. What was his first name on Gilmore Girls? I can't remember. But Diane Weiss is the mom, and she's the mom in Footloose. It's just such a good movie. It's such a good cast. Like, you know, it's really good. Also, I want to talk about Tim Capello. He is the greased up, chain wearing, spandex wearing saxophone player in the beach scene. Now, he, like, honestly, when you see him, it's a little much, it's a little over the top, and it's a little ridiculous, but you just can't help but, like, salivate a little bit, honestly. And the song that he is playing, you know, that's not like, he's actually like a pretty accomplished musician. Like, he toured with Tina Turner for like years and was in her videos and things like that. But the song, okay, funny story about like the song that he's playing you know, on the beach there. He actually was going to the Warner Brothers studio to audition for a role in Lethal Weapon. And he was sitting in his car, and that song came on the radio, and he was listening to it, and he wanted to hear the end because he hadn't heard it before, and he really liked it. He wanted to hear who the artist was so he could go out and get the record. He was late for his audition for the Lethal Weapon movie, and they took him down to the Lost Boys office because Joel Schumacher had already been talking about wanting him like in this role in the movie. And that's what happened. He actually wrote a song for the film, but it didn't get picked up. A huge, I mean, he's in the movie, honestly, for I think it's like less than a minute, but when you think of Lost Boys, you cannot think of like shirtless, greased up sax player, you know? I mean, he's like a total beefcake and like plays that role off so well. I don't know what else. I've got like so many other things I could talk about the Lost Boys, but I'm trying to keep this video short. Yes, like, I love the Lost Boys. Couple of interesting facts about them. It is my favorite movie. I love it. I will always love it. Let me know. Have you seen the movie? Let me know in the comments below. If you've never watched it, please watch it. It is such a good movie. And I guess that's all I'm going to talk about today. Oh, yeah, I recently got to go, like, the movie takes place in, like, the fictional town of Santa Carla, and that's not a real place, but where they film is a real place. And it's basically they just renamed Santa Cruz, and I got to go there recently when I was in California. Unfortunately, because of COVID world, you know, not a lot of the stuff was open there, and in the like one of the montage scenes in The Lost Boys, you know, they show a lot of the boardwalk, and there's one part where they show Laughing Sal, which is this like really kind of creepy, like really old, like animatronic clown thing, and they have her still at Santa Cruz, and I didn't get to see her, and that was like, I really wanted to see her, but next time, I guess. But yeah, so I got to go to Santa Cruz where they filmed a lot of the film just recently, and so that was pretty awesome and exciting, and yay to my peeps that took me there. They're so awesome. But okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop talking. Make sure you tell me your Lost Boys thoughts down in the comments. I'm Asherella. This is my channel, Original Asherella. I love the Lost Boys. Always tap in, never tap out. Follow me on my social media accounts and keep on slaying like a Saiyan. Don't wanna